Hello again, card community. It's RJ back with another video. Going to do it a little differently today. Typically, I would show you my random Mike Schmidt video of the day, my random baseball collectible of the day, and throw a trivia question out at you. I'm going to skip that today and launch right into what I want to show you. Spoken before about some of the things that got me started on doing videos. One of the first YouTubers I would watch was a man named Ray from Philly. Still a big fan of Ray. I haven't had a chance to hook up with him and talk to him much at all, but watch all his videos. Have certainly not texted, but commented on his videos and gotten responses and whatnot. But one of the things Ray was focused on that obviously drew me to him was, like me, Ray's a huge Mike Schmidt fan. Certainly a guy from Philly, given the name. So we have a lot in common there. But he was showing off every once in a while, and I went back and looked at one of his videos, his Mike Schmidt collection. And what I mean by that is Ray is big into the PSA set registers. I'm not as big as Ray, but I've got a couple. I got one done. Well, I should say I've got two done, but I'm working on a third now. I'm not as prolific as Ray is about PSA cards. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there too bad. I'm certainly not going to be buying singles of all the stars. That's just not the way I collect. But like Ray, I have a Mike Schmidt PSA set registry for the basic Mike Schmidt set. He showed off his at one time. If you've seen Ray's channel, he every once in a while, in fact, he does it every year on Mike Schmidt's birthday. He'll highlight his personal PSA set registry of Mike Schmidt, 47 cards. And I thought, hey, I'd like to do that too. I'd like to show off my collection of Mike Schmidt cards. So I thought, well, I don't want to do it on the same day Ray does it. I don't want to steal his spotlight. I want to let Ray continue to do what he does. So I thought, okay, what day should I do? And as I filmed this, it's May 29th. And May 29th was the day Mike Schmidt retired. He made that big announcement out in San Diego, a tearful goodbye, if you remember the video. So, in honor of the day Mike Schmidt retired, I am going to show off to you my PSA set registry of Michael Jack Schmidt. Excuse me. 47 cards spanning his career. Now, I made it a point in my collecting of this set to try and get gem mint 10s of every card from the 80s on. There's 47 cards. His 1973, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, and 79. That's 7. So his basic cards through the 70s, there are 7 of. That means I got 40 PSA 10 Mike Schmidts. That's all the other cards in the PSA set registry. So let's take a look at that now. I do not have it in a display thing yet. Ray has a couple different showcase displays. I didn't want to just go out and, oh, Ray's got one, I want one. No, I didn't want to do something like that. So right now, they're just stored in a box. I'll do something later, I suppose. But for right now, here is my Upper Deck 1990 Mike Schmidt Retires card. The Gem Mint 10. And its little bio about, why Mike was great. Not that I needed to know. I know why. After that, his 1990 Donruss card. I actually like this. I am a guy who likes to have the stats of every player on the back. My Hall of Fame collection, where I've got one card of every member of the Hall of Fame, if as much as possible are cards that contain the career stats. I've always been a fan of cards that have this. I don't like the modern Topps cards because they only have a portion of the career stats. I like to see the career stats. So this Mike Schmidt card right here is a period piece that had his whole stats on back. Now there's other cards been produced since. A lot of the Topps Archives cards have his career stats, so they're kind of cool. But I've always wanted to have that kind of a card. whenever I had a collection of them. Here's Mike Schmidt's base 1989 top Upper Deck card, which is, like I said before, Upper Deck, if you know, Upper Deck has always done it this way. They did like 5 years of stats, and that's it. And then they did the career totals at the bottom. So I've never been a fan of the way Upper Deck, makes the backs of their cards, even though they're beautiful cards. I always wanted more stats, just because I don't know, I'm such a stat nerd, I suppose. Here is the 1989. Lots of 1989 tops cards and PSA 10s. It's just it was a well-made card set. It's a classic design, nice borders. So there's my Upper Deck, my 1989 tops. I think we get back. There's a lot of 1989 cards. A lot of companies still making cards in 89. Here's your Score. Now, Score did it good. They had a nice horizontal or vertical card back, which I liked a lot. It was, you could turn it over. You didn't have to think which way was it going to be flipped. You just had it, flipped like the long way, and there was the stats. And they also, I like Score because they also would do every year of stats. Big fan of that. Here's your 89 Fleer. This is not the glossy version. I've got the glossy version in a loose card. I don't have it in PSA yet. Fleer did it too. Fleer was also a vertical flip card and had the full career stats, so I was a fan of Fleer. And then the Donruss, 89 Donruss, did a little video earlier, that one that said, errors and variations and parallels, oh my, if you look back on that. And let's see, which one is this? This is okay, so you got denotes with a single asterisk, and you have the period after the ink, just to be on the record with which card is slabbed here. But you notice, I said before, those kind of variations are only recognized by fanatics like myself. The PSA makes no distinction in their 1989 Donruss listing as to which variation this card is. I'm not saying they should. I just think it's interesting that a lot of people don't give a dang about those variations unless you're a crazed collector like I am. So that's my 89 Donruss. And then lastly, at 89, you had your 89 Bowman. And it's funny, 89 Bowman, they must have done most of their pictures in spring training because so many of the Phillies were in their burgundy uniforms. And I love the Bowman because one of the things about the Bowman that was kind of cool to me is there's no name. I mean, there's the script, but sometimes you can't read the script. So it was almost a quiz. It was almost like a trivia unto itself. How well do you know the players? Can you look at a 1989 Bowman and know who the person on the card is without a name or a team? There's nothing. So I always thought that was kind of cool a little bit about the 89 Bowmans. And you got back to 88, you got your 88 tops. 88 tops is another one with, hundreds of examples of PSA 10s because they're just the sharp cards. I guess they got the cutting down properly by that time. Here's your 89 Score. I'm sorry, 88 Score, excuse me. 88 Score is kind of different. There's a low pop on that. You get to some of those 80s cards and you'll find thousands of PSA 10s, even of Mike Schmidt. But the 88 Score, I think, is only about 40 of them. So, little side note on me, when I see there's a low pop of a Mike Schmidt card, and I see there's one up for sale, I'll buy it. Even if I already have the 10, I'll buy another 10. So I do have 2 of these PSA 10 scorecards of Mike Schmidt, just because I think it's, almost like an investment, so to speak, to get as many cards you can when there's a low pop. Same with the 88 Leaf. I think this card, an 88 Leaf Gem Mint 10 Mike Schmidt, there's like 19 in the world. So you look around at some of the great rookies today where there's thousands. Everybody's slabbing their cards these days, and there's thousands of copies of 2021 Alec Bohms that have been slabbed probably by now. And, they're selling for like $200-300 maybe. There's like 19 of this. and this sells for, you know, maybe $100. I'm not sure which is the best investment in that regard. So, just saying. Here's my 88 Fleer Schmidt. I always love this picture because it almost looks like he just struck out and he like couldn't believe he got fooled on such a bad pitch or something like that. Big grin on his face, like, oh my word, that guy got me so bad. I always love that picture. Here's the 88 Donruss version. Remember, the Leafs and the Donruss were the exact same picture, just a different logo up there on the side. Here's your 87 Topps, easily recognizable by the wood grain borders. Beautiful cards. On to the 87 Leaf. 87 Leaf with a black border. You'd figure there would be fewer 10s than some of the other ones, but no, there's a number of 10s on this one for some reason. So it's not a scarce 10 by any means. Here is your 87 Fleer. Not too much to say about that. And you could be your 87 Donruss. Same picture as the Leaf, obviously. Again, even though it's a black border, there's several 10s of these cards. I guess, you know, people, the Donruss and Fleer were starting to get their act together there. Here's your 86 Topps. This was a hard one to find. Not that there's a limited number, but it was difficult to find a 10 up for sale originally when I bought this one. So I was happy to find it when I did. And there's your 86 Leaf. No shortage of 86 Leafs at 10s. It's got a real old style label on it there. And you got your 86 Fleer. And then your 86 Donruss. Always, like I said, always looking the exact same as the Fleers. Got your 85 Topps. As you get further back into the 80s, some of these cards get harder to find in your 10s. 85 Leaf was another one with a really low pop in 10s. I think there's less than 30 of this in existence in a PSA 10. I'm happy to have one of them. They're hard to find, and again, if I can get one in a PSA 10 and the pop is under 100, I'm going to snag it. I just think that's a great investment since, you know, I think Mike is such a desirable collectible kind of guy. I mean, Nolan Ryan, Mickey Mantle, Cal Ripken, Jackie Robinson, some of the guys at the top of the hobby, Willie Mays. But I think a lot of people, Mike is a guy I think a lot of people gravitate to as well, that they want to collect his cards. So if I can snag a PSA 10 in a low pop, I'm going to do it. I don't buy a ton of 89 Topps PSA 10s because I don't think it's a big reason to do that. Here's your 85 Fleer. Getting down into some of the better cards that I like the most. You get before like 84 and under, then they start getting really cool as far as I'm concerned. That's my era of collecting. That's when I was collecting, from 84 and earlier. So there you go. There's your 84 Topps. Love the two pictures. Love the 83. When we get to that, I'll expound on that one a little bit better. This card right here, not that an 84 Fleer Mike Schmidt is particularly special, but I always love the 84 design. I think the 84 design was one of the cleanest, crispest, the nicest designs ever. Just a clean, crisp, basic design that was really sharp with the two blue lines, simple, you know, logo, name and position, Fleer at the top. Just, it's a nice looking set, that design. He had some really cool photos in this thing in the back. And again, I like the stats, the career stats on the back. So this set, I don't have it yet. It's one of the ones I'm going to have to get. I always thought the 84 Fleer design was fantastic. I was a big fan. for Donruss. This is one of those where I don't know why. Donruss must have done really good that year. There's like 1,000 of these 10s out there. Donruss in 84, there's so many Gem Mint 10s, Mike Schmidt's. And you get 83. 83 I loved. When I was a kid, I collected from 78 to 84. And then I was stopped for a while. I got back into it in the late 80s, early 90s. And I decided to put together my, I said, I went through my childhood collection, which I still had. And I had mostly 83 cards. I had almost all of them. So I finished my 83 collection first. That's why I like 83 as a set. I thought about doing a PSA complete set of 83 tops, but when I figured out how much it was going to cost, I said, maybe later. Maybe when I become independently wealthy, I'll do that. Not now. Here's my 83 Fleer. And 83 Donruss. 81, 2, and 3 Donruss sometimes are hard to figure. I mean, they're clearly distinguishable, but if you're not looking, you might miss it. 82 Tops is another one that's hard to find as a 10. I think there's over 100 of them, just over 100 of them, but they just don't come up for sale that often, and they're pricey because it was hard to find centered. So I was happy to get this guy here. This is also in an older PSA case. You got no holographic logo on that. Here's your 82 Fleer. Mike sporting the beard. You don't see that too often, with him sporting that beard. There's a couple years he did it. Here's your 82 Donruss. '81 Tops. Love the '81 style. The hat down here at the bottom, that was one of my favorite designs as a kid. There's the All-Star logo at the top. He was a starter for the '80 team. That's what those All-Star logos meant. If you weren't aware, they were the starters at that position the year before. Now, 81 Fleer and Donruss, there's two cards. I don't know why. 81 was the first year for Fleer and Donruss. We'll get into that in another issue. But they made a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors in those sets. Multiple cards of the same player, different numbers on the back. This is the 81 Fleer basic one. And then he's got another one, the 81 Fleer batting. This one was number 5. This one was number 640. This one says MVP third base. This one says 1980 home run king. There's variations of those. I don't know why the PSA set registry may use those two cards as making it up, but whoever put the set registry together did that. I'm going to show you the 281 Donrusses as well. Same kind of thing. The basic card and then the MVP card. I don't know why Donruss chose to do it that way, but they did. So here they are. And again, Donruss didn't do, early on, they didn't do full stats. They just did these wacky bios. Donruss was exceptionally poor in its cutting. They had a lot of off-center cards in the early years. And then here's my 1980 Tops Mike Schmidt. This is the last one where I got a Gem Mint 10. So again, every card you just saw was a Gem Mint 10 from PSA. Then it gets a little bit pricey. Haven't been willing to pull the trigger to get 10s of the other cards. So here you go, 79 Tops. Mike Schmidt, clearly it's off-centered. That's the problem with your 79s. Bad centering on so many cards. That's why the Ozzie Smith card is so incredibly expensive if you can find a 10 of that. But here's my 1979 Tops Schmidt in a 9. And then I have his 78 card in a 9. This one's a little off-centered to the top right. This was my first year collecting cards. If you've followed my videos, you'll know that. Here's the 77, also in a 9. Try my best to get as close to 10 as I possibly can, obviously. Everything's falling in my box here. And then I got the 76 and a 9. So, if you get to a 10 on these, you're talking more money than I want to deal with. Let's just say that. All right. Then you're 75. 75 is when I'm down to an 8 now. It's got a little bit of a printer blemish right there, a little white circle. Corners are pretty crisp and clean. Centering's slightly off. It almost looks like it's an angled card. The image slightly looks rotated that way because it looks like it's closer. The edge is closer here than it is down there. I'm not sure if that's true or just the way it looks. And his second year card is 74. I'm not sure if I told you this story before, but when I first got back into card collecting, the first show I ever went to, I live out in a suburb of Philadelphia, and there's a city here called Allentown, Pennsylvania. Billy Joel did that song about Allentown. Yeah. Allentown, Pennsylvania, there's a place up there, the fairgrounds, called the Allentown Fairgrounds, and they got conventions and parties and all kinds of things happened at the Allentown Fairgrounds. Well, they had a card show back in 1989. And appearing at this card show were Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, and Jim Palmer. And this is right around when I started getting back into cards. And somebody who knew I was interested in cards said, "Hey, did you see this?" And dang well I went. And I was working in college, still living at home though. So, being young and stupid, I got like $500 cash. It's just, prices were high, but it wasn't crazy yet. And I bought $500 and a mission. I was going to get all 3 autographs. I got Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, and Jim Palmer all in balls. I thought autograph balls were the way to go. And the other thing I wanted to do was to get a Mike Schmidt rookie card. So I got all the autographs. I got Mantle, Williams, Palmer. Got up there, handed them my ball, very excited as a kid. I was a teenager at the time. And I got Palmer. I had a Orioles jacket, but after things kind of slowed down, I was kind of bored. There was Palmer sitting all by himself. I thought, well, let me run buy another autograph ticket. I got him to autograph my Orioles jacket. That was kind of fun. And a couple things I took away from that show. I'll get to the card in a second, but I was in line for Mickey Mantle. Now, I was way back in the line. If you remember autograph shows back in the day, you got a ticket with a number because they'd let the people who bought first get low-numbered tickets, and then scrubs like me who got it at the day of the show, we were like ticket number 5,000 or something like that. Who knows? I don't know how many Mickey was scheduled to sign or Ted Williams was scheduled to sign that day. But we're getting close to the end, and Mickey wants to go, and he's getting tired. He's getting cranky. And so this guy is walking down the line with a box of balls because the show promoters, when you get an autograph guest, the first thing the autograph guest does is he sits in a back room with the show promoter and signs about 1,000 pieces for him and him only. It's part of the fee they paid these guys. They pay these guys a flat fee, $50,000 for the day or something like that. And as part of his fee, he's got to sign a certain number of pieces for the promoter of the show, and then the rest are tickets for the fans. So Mickey wants to get the heck out of there. He's tired of signing, but there's still a line of about 50 people, maybe 60 people. I'm in there. And this guy starts walking down the aisle asking us, would we take one of these balls that they had Mickey sign so that you could leave with the ball and get out of line? And there were a couple people said, yeah, I'll do it. And most of us said no, because, this is my first show. I want to see Mickey Mantle. I want to say thank you to Mickey Mantle, And suddenly this one guy says, you give me 2 balls and I'll do it. And the guy thinks about it for a couple seconds. He says, fine. So this guy, the autograph price back in the day, this will make a lot of you laugh who know what autograph prices are for. The autograph price that day for Mickey Mantle and for Ted Williams was $35 a ball. And this guy said, you give me 2 of those balls, I'll step out of line. And the guy did it. He gave him 2 Mickey Mantle balls. And so he got 2 Mickey Mantle balls for $35 a piece that day back in 1989. And I think back to when I did this. I'm going, boy, was I a stupid kid. I should have done that too. The worst part about it, though, was when I got the balls, I didn't understand the concept of a National League ball and an American League ball. This was before it was just Major League ball. There was National League balls and American League balls back in the day. And that you had to get your autograph. If you're going to get an autograph ball, you've got to get it on a Major League Baseball. You can't get it on, the Little League ball or just a baseball. It had to be a real American or National League ball for it to be really valuable. If it's on a junk ball, that's what they call it, a junk ball, the value is greatly diminished. Well, I didn't know any of this. I just picked up a ball. I went to the store one day before the show and picked up a ball. It was like official league balls, what it said. That's what Ted Williams signed for me, was an official league ball. And for Mickey Mantle, I got a National League ball because there were American League balls and National League ball that day. And I actually bought at the show that day. They had stacks of baseballs for these shows. You got stacks of baseballs, stacks of, sleeves and ball holders, the gold base ball holders back in the day. And I bought a ball. I didn't realize it was a National League ball that I was going to hand to Mickey Mantle. I didn't know. I just did it. So I got Mickey Mantle to sign a National League ball. Somehow I got the right ball for Jim Palmer. I got an American League ball for him. But the other 2 guys, I totally screwed up. But I got to meet them. I actually, I was there in front of Ted Williams. I was there in front of Mickey Mantle and Jim Palmer. It was the first show I ever went to. But the rookie card, I went around looking for a rookie card, and I saw this card right here. And I said, my gosh, look how young he is. He doesn't even have his mustache. That's his rookie card. And it was $75. $75. This will tell you something here, okay? The value of vintage cards only goes up. It doesn't go down. But today, you can get a 74 Topps Mike Schmidt card raw for about $15, maybe 10, depending on where you get it. And that tells you that if you're dealing in vintage cards, the only thing that matters to people who collect vintage is this case. If you don't have your vintage card slabbed, there's no value, nothing. Now, that's not true if you've got some of the iconic cards. It wouldn't be true for a Wagner. It wouldn't be true of a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle and so forth and so on. But any card from the 70s, there's no value unless it's slabbed. It's crazy to me sometimes. I spent $75 in 1989 for a 1974 Topps card. I think his rookie card was running about $150 to $200. Even that, I can get a Mike Schmidt rookie card to this day for $100 raw. So prices of raw cards have dropped significantly from when we first started collecting. And then lastly in my collection is my PSA 7 rookie card. Again, this is the card. I didn't realize this was his rookie card. And what it was is I'm still at the show and I'm walking around and I see this thing. I was like, wait, what is that? 1973? Oh, darn it. I was so mad at myself because by that time, when I finally found this card on a show, on a shelf somewhere, I had spent the rest of my money. I actually, another lament I have, I actually bought at the show the Tinkers to Everest to Chance T206 cards. I found a dealer, and I didn't know what tobacco cards were, but here was Tinkers to Everest to Chance, all 3 cards. I think it was like about $200 raw cards at that time. And I snagged them because I knew who Tinker's Devers the Chants were. I was a baseball historian then, still to this day, and I snagged those cards. So when I finally found this card, I was like heartbroken because I didn't have any more money, any more cash with me, and I couldn't get any more right away. So I was like, oh, I missed it, and I never had it for like the longest time. It took me for years to finally get Topps, Mike Schmidt rookie card, but I did. So anyway, that is my PSA set registry, or I should say, my Mike Schmidt basic PSA set registry. If anybody else out there does their PSA set registries and they want to check out mine, I've taken photos of everything and uploaded it on to the set registry. I'm number 14 on the list. There's about, I don't know, about 90 guys doing it. I'm number 14 right now. I'm kind of bummed because at one time I was trying to get down to the top 10. And if you think about it, I've got, every card's a PSA 10 from the 80s on. It's just when you get below the 80s that I haven't hit PSA 10s. And that makes me jealous because somewhere out there, there's 13 other people who've got better cards than I do in the 70s. They've got 10s, they've got 8s, maybe the rookie card's an 8. Maybe the 9, they got a 9 of the 74 or a 9 of the 75, I'm just trying to figure out how much I'm willing to spend. Am I willing to spend $1,000 on a PSA 10 from the 70s? I don't know if I'm sure the wife wouldn't approve, but let's not tell her. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. A look at my PSA set registry, Mike Schmidt set. Given that today, when I'm filming this is the 29th, I'll likely release this on the Memorial Day. I'll probably post this up on tomorrow. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed some of the stories I shared with you there. I want to thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions for the channel, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Again, thanks for taking some time out to watch my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.